This is why you need to know about the Soviet one-brick heater. Before we dive in, make sure to like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss a survival secret. You're in a dugout, carved into the frozen Eastern European earth. Outside, the wind drives snow into a shrieking white nothingness, and the temperature is plunging past anything a human body is meant to endure. Your issued stove is empty, the firewood is a half-mile away under 3 feet of snow, and the fuel convoy is a distant dream lost to a partisan ambush. You have a few scraps of tinder, a handful of twigs, and a simple, dense clay brick pilfered from a farmhouse ruin. Your life tonight doesn't depend on a roaring fire. It depends on understanding how to store a whisper of summer inside that single brick. This isn't a theory from a cosy laboratory. This is the brutal, elegant reality of the Soviet one-brick heater, a frontline invention born from the absolute zero margin of error that defined survival on the Eastern Front. For the soldier, the partisan, and the bunker builder who used it, this wasn't a clever hack. It was the thin, radiant line between frostbite and functional fingers, between hypothermia and seeing the dawn. Today, we're pulling that brick from the historical frost and breaking down exactly how it worked, why it was so devastatingly effective, and how the core principle behind it remains one of the most vital lessons in survival thermodynamics you can ever learn. The genesis was a simple equation of scarcity and necessity. To understand the brick heater, you must first understand the environment that demanded it. The Soviet war machine, especially in its forward observation posts, partisan camps and remote bunkers, was perpetually starved of logistical luxury. These positions were often deliberately placed in the most inaccessible terrain: dense forests, vast marshes, and the open, wind-scoured steppe. Supply trucks were rare, firewood was frequently snow-soaked and required exhausting labour to chop, and a constant fire meant constant smoke, a luxury that could draw artillery fire or a patrol. The problem was clear. Men were freezing to death in static positions with almost nothing to burn. The solution was not to find more fuel, but to radically change how the fuel they had was used. The brick itself wasn't the invention. The invention was the conscious application of thermal mass as a heat battery. Red Army field engineers and hardened veterans began codifying a method. Use a short, intense and efficient burn to charge a dense object with heat, then let that object do the quiet, safe work of radiation through the long, deadly night. The mechanics revolved around storing heat, not sustaining flame. The magic of the system lies in 2 principles: thermal mass and radiative heating. A clay brick, particularly the older, dense varieties common at the time, is excellent at absorbing and slowly releasing heat energy. Instead of trying to maintain a flickering, fuel-hungry flame for 8 hours, a soldier would focus all his minimal fuel, dry twigs, paper, a small lump of coal, if he was lucky, into a 15-minute inferno inside a makeshift stove, often just a perforated metal ammo box or a trench cooker. The brick sat directly in the heart of this blaze. Once the fuel was spent, the brick was removed with gloves or a cloth, now acting as a compact portable heat reservoir. Placed on a metal plate or a flat stone to prevent scorching, and positioned centrally in the dugout or at the foot of a sleeping platform, it would emit a steady, gentle, radiant warmth for hours. It wouldn't make the space hot, but it would raise the ambient temperature by several critical degrees. In a well-sealed earthen bunker, that difference was everything. It kept rifles from freezing solid, prevented canned rations from becoming blocks of ice. and most importantly, it kept the cruel, damp cold from leaching the very life from a man's bones as he slept. The procedure was brutally practical and battlefield tested. Field manuals described the steps without romance. First, secure an intact brick without cracks, as a fractured brick could hold moisture and explode when heated. Second, heat it aggressively in a concentrated fire until it was uniformly hot, often to the point of barely being handleable with thick gloves. Third, transfer it immediately to a stable, non-flammable base. A mess tin lid, a piece of sheet metal, a flat rock. Fourth, place it strategically within the confined space. The beauty was in its scalability. A single brick could serve 1 or 2 men in a small dugout. 3 or 4 bricks, heated and strategically placed, could take the deadly edge off a squad bunker. The discipline was in accepting that the work was done up front. The fire was out, the risk of smoke inhalation dropped, and the precious captured warmth was now working for you silently while you rested. Its hidden victory was over an invisible killer carbon monoxide. One of the greatest dangers in any enclosed shelter with a live fire is honestly carbon monoxide poisoning. Countless soldiers on all fronts died silently in their sleep from poorly ventilated stoves, especially when chimneys iced over or drafts failed. The one-brick method solved this with elegant simplicity. The combustion event was brief and controlled. Once the brick was charged, the fire was completely extinguished. There was no ongoing flame, no smouldering embers, and therefore no production of deadly gases. The bunker could be sealed tightly against the cold without becoming a death trap. For the modern survivalist, this is the paramount lesson. The brick heater provides a way to achieve life-sustaining warmth in a sealed environment without the perpetual risks of open flame or fumes. The enduring logic teaches efficiency over brute force. The core takeaway for anyone interested in real-world survival is honestly a shift in mindset. The Soviet brick heater teaches you to think in terms of energy investment and storage, not constant consumption. Instead of fighting the cold all night with dwindling fuel, you make a calculated energy deposit into a reliable bank, the thermal mass, and withdraw it slowly as needed. This logic translates directly to modern scenarios. Whether you're winter camping, heating a small cabin during a power outage, or trying to keep a vehicle shelter viable, the principle stands. Heat stones in a campfire's last coals and bury them under your tent's floor. Warm a dense clay pot and bring it into a sleeping bag. Even in a home during a winter blackout, heating bricks in a fireplace and placing them safely in rooms follows the exact same timeless, efficient logic. This tiny heater remains a monument to ingenuity under constraint. 80 years later, in an age of battery-powered gadgets and complex gear, the one-brick heater stands as a masterclass in elegant, reliable solutioneering. It requires no supply chain, has no moving parts to break, emits no light signature, and after its brief firing, produces no smoke. It is the epitome of low-signature, sustainable survival. It proves that the most profound solutions are often born not from abundance, but from the stark clarity of having nothing. It is a piece of living history you can hold in your hands, a testament to the brutal ingenuity that kept men alive when the world had turned to ice and steel. If this deep dive into the kind of real fieldcraft that forged history resonates with you, then you belong here. Make sure you subscribe to Warfront Survival and hit the notification bell. Share this video with someone who understands that true survival wisdom is often etched in the scratches on a simple brick. And together, let's keep exploring the forgotten skills that decided who lived, who died, and how history was written in the most extreme conditions imaginable.